Soraya. How you doing? This is Jeff.
All right.
I am excited about this episode for a couple reasons that we have today.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to be talking to all of the surviving members from the Pandoras, the It's About Time era, the first full length. The band changed members a few times, but we're going to be talking to all of the three members from that band. Of course, we lost Paula Pierce, the singer from that band, but the three others are going to be talking to us today. And I'm excited because I love this album, and I'm curious to what they think about it now, so far removed. And I'm also excited because this was on a label called Vox Records, which I kind of think of as like a cousin of the Paisley Underground. So this Vox label were bands from the 80s that were very influenced by sounds of the 60s. Maybe a little bit more garagey than the Paisley Underground, but still, I think of them as cousins. So I'm hoping that this year we can get into some of these Vox label bands. So this is us dipping our toes into the Vox waters.
Well, then let's get started.
Let's do it.
Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff.
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
A podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a groovear.
Let's get groovy. Let's get groovy indeed. Let's add these.
All right.
Here we go.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. We're going to be 5 of us on the call. Jeff and Soraya. And then from the Pandora side, we have...
Casey.
Hi, Casey.
And Gwynne.
Is Casey there?
I'm here.
Oh, hi.
And Gwynne.
It's Bambi.
Hi, Bambi.
Hi.
Hi, girls.
I feel
Hi.
I feel like I'm one of the Pandoras for a second right now.
Well, there were certainly a lot of them, so...
Sounds great. Well, we have a few questions for you guys that we'd love to get some answers on, specifically about the time period when you guys were the Pandoras. So, Soraya, you want to get us started?
Yeah. First of all, hi, Bambi. Hi, Casey. And hi, Gwynne. And for our listeners, I love hearing these voices. On today's show, listeners, you guys are super lucky because we are absolutely thrilled to have the 3 members of the It's About Time era of the Pandoras. And on the phone, you've heard their voices. We have multi-instrumentalist Gwynne Kahn, drummer Casey Gomez-Dobbs, and bassist Bambi Conway. Thank you all for taking our call this afternoon, and we're just ready to jump on into it. So we'd like to start with Gwynne and talk to us about how you got started with the band.
Well, I had been following Paula's old band. They were called the Direct Hits, only they later changed the name to Action Now after they'd broken up, but put out a record. And so I had known her for about 5 years, and we were hanging out together, and she decided she wanted to move in a different direction from the Direct Hits, who were just pure power pop. And she had a boyfriend who was in the Unclaimed, who were, as you know, a 60s garage band, and that's Paula sort of got into whatever her boyfriends were into. So she got very into 60s garage, and I'd always been into 60s garage. In fact, my old boyfriend was Joe from The Last, who not only, did a lot of 60s influenced music, but actually, educated me on the 60s in a big way. So I was crazy about the 60s. I dressed 60s. I went to see The Unclaimed all the time and The Last all the time. And I wouldn't say I was a mod, though. There was a mod scene, but I wasn't really part of the mod scene because that was kind of leaning more towards ska, and I wasn't really into ska. But anyway, so Paula asked me if I wanted to do this new project with her, do an all-girl 60s garage band, and I said, yeah. And I thought of the name, and Paula had found Casey, I guess, out in the Inland Empire, and a bass player named Debbie, and there we were.
Very nice. So, Casey, you're from the Inland Empire?
No,
Yeah,
I was in West LA. But, are you talking to me or Casey?
Casey.
Me, the one from the IE, unfortunately.
I'm a Temecula boy, so I'm all about the IE. So.
Yeah, Montclair. And Paula was from Chino.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Casey, can you tell me how you felt about joining as the drummer for the band when you first joined in?
Well, all I wanted to do was play, so anybody that came up, it was good. And this really seemed to work. I was into a lot of surf music at the time, and it was perfect for me. Just Debbie met me at college and called me up, went to Paula's. Actually, we went to my mom's house in Montclair and practiced, and it seemed like it worked out so perfectly. It was pretty awesome.
Very cool.
Pretty simple. And Bambi, before we get into how you came to be a part of the band, Gwynne, I wanted to ask you something just about the name. You said you came up with the name. Like, where'd you get the inspiration for the name, or was that part of a brainstorming session, or was it something you just had?
Well, Paula had a couple of names on a list, and I didn't like them, so so I had to be the control freak and come up with one. And it was inspired by Pandora's Box because we were both very into the Riot on Sunset Strip movie and music. So that was, that, and obviously the connotations of the Greek mythology. I had no idea there was already a band called the Pandoras in the 60s at the time, because this was before you could YouTube any obscure thing you wanted. I mean,
right, yeah.
I was informed of that later.
Very cool. I like it. I like the origin.
Okay, so then we wanted to talk about the band's first release, which was the EP I'm Here, I'm Gone on Moxie Records that came out in 1984. And the EP has the original bassist Debbie that Casey was talking about, and Bambi. Bambi, can you tell us about when you joined the band and what songs you played on the EP? Because I noticed that both of you guys are playing on it.
Yeah, I had been in the band like a week when we went in and recorded that. Everything just happened so fast at that point. And, I have some memories of going in and just doing that.
I missed it. So you just said you played on one song?
No, I played on Why
okay.
and You Lie. Oh, wasn't You Lie on the EP?
No.
So you...
Okay, then it must have been You Lie, but we did Melvin, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What about I'm Here, I'm Gone?
Okay, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's sort of a blur because we went in and did that EP, like, I've been in the band probably literally a week, and then it seems like we went in and started recording It's About Time, like really soon after that, too.
I think we were also inspired by the DIY ethic of the punk era, that we moved really fast with things. Like we were not what you would call perfectionists. We were more like, let's learn this and immediately do it and immediately record and immediately start playing out. It was very immediate gratification, kind of. But I think that's a good way to do things, to be honest. It was good. It was like we recorded live, I think.
Oh, wow.
I don't see a problem with it. The audience was having fun, so it wasn't like, maybe we were a little sloppy, but, if everybody's having fun, I don't see it's a problem.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best part of a garage band, is that it's really authentic and really raw.
Yeah.
I would certainly agree with that.
Yeah.
Most of the EP was recorded by Vidas Matere and produced by Bill Inglot. And we'd like to know, what was it like working with those two on the EP?
It was great. It's Gwynne speaking. I had known Bill from the whole record collector crowd that I ran with.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like working with friends, And at the same time, kind of an honor, because I was still sort of in awe of the laugh, in spite of the fact that I had a personal relationship,
Mm-hmm. And what about Casey and Bambi? What about you guys? Any impressions from working with Bill and with Vidas?
Bill was easy to work with. I thought we recorded with Ethan James also. Oh, we did, but I can't remember which time. Yeah, I thought so. I think it was I'm Here, I'm Gone, that my Jumping Jack Flash ripoff. I think that was that one. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for the correction.
That was fun.
All right, and then you guys said that you jumped into It's About Time shortly after that, so we wanted to talk a little bit about that. That's the album that we really wanted to focus on. The album was released in 1984 on Greg Shaw's The Vox label. Can you guys tell us how Greg came to be involved with the band?
Well, he was part of our whole record collector crowd, too, and Greg liked any band that had a 60s influence. You know, Greg was always all about the 60s, as I guess everybody knows. He's the one who pulled together all those Pebbles compilations, and he got a lot of our material from Pebbles. Yeah, so Greg was going to be a fan of anything 60s, so he wanted to, you know, obviously he wanted in on it. And I think he was a little bit of a girl band geek, too. Would you say he was? Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
So
he liked the idea of an all-girl 60s garage band. I remember him saying something about that.
Yeah, he had done a band called the B Girls in the late 70s, who were kind of a girl group set up, you know, I think they were from Canada. And he'd done a lot of stuff with 60s bands, too.
Very cool. And then before we start, we wanted to talk about each one of the songs, but before we get into that, Gwynne, I wanted to ask you about the cover, which pays homage to the Shadows of Night Gloria cover.
Yeah.
So what was the thought behind that? It's definitely not a rip-off, but there's an homage, certainly.
Well, the whole band was an homage to everything from that era, and obviously some of the songs are a little more than an homage. I would go so far as to possibly say a ripoff. Case in point, I Live My Life is Too Many People by the Leaves, just to cite an example. So, I mean, so much about the band was an homage that I figured that would be the perfect illustration for what the band was about, was to do the same thing with the artwork as we were doing with the music, you know?
Very cool. It's a very iconic cover, too.
Yeah, it became that way. I had no idea at the time it would go there.
And I have just one question before we start going track by track. So for the three of you, and Jeff and I both are huge fans of the Pandoras, and especially for this album, It's About Time. And I'm just curious. You guys rock really hard. You're a great garage band. I mean, the Pandora sound is so unique. Was it hard breaking in as an all-girl band at that time for the music that you were playing? Or was it simply you guys found a good community and a supportive music community at the time?
I would say that the punk scene that we came out of was really supportive of girl musicians. It was the first time in rock history that female musicians were acknowledged as equals. For example, the Talking Heads, the Adverts, the Alley Cats, the Bad, you know. So we were coming out of that scene. And, of course, the Go-Go's and the Bangles had just been out and gotten really successful. So, no, it was an advantage being an all-girl band.
I love hearing that. That makes me really happy because the music is so good, and it's good to know that the scene was supportive of the band moving forward. All right.
Yeah. The scene was
supportive. Bambi. I'm doing all the talking. Put in your own 2
Well, you know what? I'd like to say that the scene was supportive, but you'd always get the guys that said, wow, you're pretty good for a girl.
Oh, wow.
Which always got under my skin a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
But overall, the scene was totally supportive. We were just another band on the scene, and we didn't have trouble getting gigs or anything like that, you know, and people would come.
And I like hearing that. Yeah. Sorry.
And there were so many other, you know, female musicians at the time that we'd often get put on girls' nights, you know, which may be ghettoizing it if you want to be politically correct about it, but it was still an advantage. We definitely got attention for it, and I think any attention is good attention, even if there's a condescending novelty kind of ghettoization to it. I think it's showbiz, and however you can get attention, you know.
We wanted to go track by track. So we're going to start with side 1, track 1, It's About Time. And Jeff and I are just curious, any thoughts or memories about each of these tracks or anything, any anecdote you want to share? And tell you what, we'll start, we'll kind of go round robin. So Gwynne, Casey, Bambi, anyone want to jump in? Just tell us. Track 1, It's About Time.
I really liked that song because it sounded like the Byrds, and I'm a huge Byrds fan. I love the 12-string Rickenbacker sound, and I personally wouldn't have minded if the band had gone a little more in that direction, even though it was ground that the Bangles had covered and done really well. I have such a soft spot for that style, you know.
Casey, Bambi?
That's pretty much what I thought about, were the Byrds, when I was playing it.
Okay, let's go to the next track. Track number 2, I Want Him.
I want you, baby. No, I want him. I don't need you, darling. Ow, I want him. Hey, the way you're talking to me so much better here. Today I take a while, looking in my eyes. You look so dim. Yeah.
Gwynne, any thoughts on that song?
Standard garage fare, you know. The attitude was, you know, typical. That was very characteristic of Paula to write these, you know, because all the 60s garage guys had songs where they were rejecting somebody, so she would write, you know, these rejection songs, and it was all I thought it was very kind of almost tongue-in-cheek and funny, but I think she took it really seriously.
Oh,
I don't think Paula had as much of a sense of humor about it as we did.
That's funny. I've always taken it tongue in cheek myself. So
that song always cracked me up because I had called it white boy lowrider music. That song, and she got really angry at me, but it was perfect. White boy lowrider music.
Actually, considering that we were all listening to like Art LeBeau on KRLA radio, I was listening to all those dedications on Saturday nights. That's probably pretty apt.
It was perfect.
That is the perfect characterization. Excellent. What about track number 3, James?
Paula and I both have crushes on yes, the ever popular Falling James Moreland from the Leaving Trains.
Oh.
And the Bangles already had a song called James, which might have been about Falling James, but I don't know. But it sounds like it is, if you ask me. I think they say it's not, but they did, Susanna Hoffs, I think, did have a tryst with him before the Bangles were famous. But, yeah, that song's about Falling James, and we just thought he was really sexy. And he was very reluctant to do anything with me at the time. I was actually going out with the guitar player from Leaving Trains, so it was a conflict of interest for him. And Paula, of course, was with Shelley from The Unclaimed. But, yeah, that's what the song's about, is, how we both really wanted James.
Nice.
Now, then he married Courtney Love, and now he wears dresses. And now he's a snowflake. He's like the ultimate snowflake now. He stopped speaking to me because I made a joke at his expense on Facebook, and it was just a bad pun, and he accused me of being transphobic.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my gosh.
I love accusations of transphobia from somebody who's never taken a hormone or even shaved his legs in his life. Or stuffed a bra.
So,
but whatever.
Casey, Bambi, any thoughts on James, the song?
None here.
I remember them talking about Falling James and, but yeah, I don't really remember a lot about the song except that and vaguely playing on it.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you guys.
I will say for the record that I seem to have a pattern of, throwing over really sane guys for ones that are completely out of their fucking gourds, and it's a problem, and I probably need to see a therapist about it.
Soraya, can you help out there?
No, but you know what? The sisters are doing okay. All of my musical sisters are all right. No problem.
All right. Before we go on to He's Not Far, I had a quick question about the songwriting process. So it looked like Paula did the lion's share of writing the song. So would she bring in a song and then you guys just added your own parts, or was she influential in what you guys would play? Like, did she have an idea of what the keyboard part would be, or the bass part?
The parts were so simple. I'm going to let Casey answer this because I'm not sure what she did with the drums. But for the keyboard part...
As far as I remember, I played all my own drums the way I thought they should be. She always tried to get me to quiet down for some reason, but I played my own stuff, whatever I thought was working on the song.
Excellent.
Paula occasionally threw, a specific part my way, but for the most part, it was just make it sound like the original music from the 60s, and so that was kind of a no-brainer.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I just did what I was told.
So, Bambi, would you come up with your own bass parts?
I was so steeped in 60s music at the time,
Right.
I mean, it was everything to me, so it was like automatic pilot,
Excellent. Yeah, it it to me, when listening to it, it does have. It sounds authentic. I mean, even though the homage is there, and you could tell that the influence is strong. It has a. I think a lot of it is the production quality. It just has like a genuine '60s garage rock feel to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, of course, we were working with people who, loved 60s garage music, too. I mean, Greg Shaw is absolutely was the king of 60s garage music. He's the person that brought 90% of it to 90% of the people out there of my generation and younger,
Yeah. A big part of my record collection has his name on it. So.
Exactly.
All right, so continuing down the song list, He's Not Far Away.
He's not far from me. Show you the senses. He's not far, you see. Only listen. He's not far, oh yeah. He's not far, oh yeah.
What do you think about that one, Gwen? Any thoughts on that song?
Yeah, that one was actually copied from a song or two songs. One of them was on a compilation album that I had gotten in New York I think it's called Psychotic Moose and the Soul Searchers. And I don't remember, Things You Do was the name of the song. And I can't remember who did it, but it's probably on YouTube.
Okay.
And then
When I go to sleep, I'll think of you, and I'll begin to weep about things you do. Thoughts of you running through my head.
the other part of the song was from another song that had been on a compilation cassette. Remember those? That one of my boyfriends in New York had made for me. I was going out with this guy named James Marshall, who was like a rock writer for the Village Voice, and he made me a comp of extremely obscure 60s garage music, and I had loaned it to Paula, and that's where she kind of got the inspiration for that song.
Oh, wow.
That and Things You Do. I think the band might have been called The Morning Rain or something, Morning with a U. It's been so long, and I listen to other things besides 60s garage music now. I haven't really listened to a lot of 60s garage in a long time.
I'm gonna show they're wrong. I'll prove our love is strong. I'll play that part us together.
Casey, any thoughts on the song?
No, I'm trying to think of the songs. This is like the first time I've heard the names of these songs in probably 25, 30 years.
Right, yeah.
So I'm trying to kind of go into my brain and remember the songs.
Right.
What about you, Bambi? Any thoughts?
Well, I remember going in the studio and recording that one because we had like backing vocals to figure out when we were in the studio. And I was kind of like freaked out about actually singing in front of a bunch of people, but we did it. And also I have to tell you that I did not know at the time how derivative some of these songs were, and I was really seriously shocked when I found out.
Yeah, Bambi was really into the Yardbirds, but she wasn't deep into the garage stuff like I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wasn't at all.
And then I learned about the garage from being in the band, but when I first heard, when Gwynne told me this, this is a rip-off of this song, And I listened. I said to Paula, "Well, what are you doing?" And she goes, "So." Like she didn't care. She's like, "So what?"
You know, and in a way she was right, because nobody's questioned it in 35 years. And she was doing it because that's what Shelley from the Unclaimed did.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you
I
Unclaimed
guess
songs
so.
that come from old songs, too, that are, like, pretty much the same exact melody and chords, you know?
Yeah.
Like The Sorrow by the Unclaimed is Train for Tomorrow by the Electric Prunes, you know? And
Yeah, I guess everybody does it.
the Cramps did it. The Cramps did it. I had a boyfriend in New York who put out a compilation called Songs the Cramps Taught Us, and it was a compilation of songs the Cramps that ripped off note for note. But at least I will say for the Cramps, in their defense, that they came up with some really funny original lyrics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that can write "Don't eat stuff off the sidewalk," no matter how good it looks, you know, they're going to get a thumbs up from me for that line alone. That might be one of the greatest opening lines of any song ever.
All right, track 5, Haunted Beach Party.
My favorite.
Yeah,
So
that
cool.
That was a fun one.
That was. I
actually,
put
that one was-
castanets on that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I would say that's
I
Out of
rocked
Limits by
them.
the Marquettes.
Ooh.
That was great.
Yeah, it's definitely influenced by Out of Limits.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about a Max Fleischer cartoon when I was playing the castanets. I was thinking those are little skeletons dancing around. It was awesome.
What a
Oh, now,
That's
yes.
cool.
I can see it. I can see it.
what a
Yep.
Love it.
That's a good one. Bambi, any thoughts?
Yeah, I loved that song. I loved playing that song. It was great.
Very cool. Well, that takes us to the last song on side 1, on the domestic version at least. And it's one of only 2 covers that you guys did, official covers, let's say. And a song that was originally recorded by Invictus, I think, The Hump.
I've got a story for you about the hottest spot in town. They do the dance, well, then they place around. You're the hump, you're the hump, you're the hump, you're the hump. The parking lot is filled with the hottest rocket out. They keep it like a block, they're the wild town. You're the hump, you're the hump, you're the hump, you're the hump. The good way to be, push it in, push it out, push it in the head. That's the path, you're the hump, you're the hump. Shut up! Shut up! Give it to me! Wow!
Gwynne, what do you think
Yeah.
about that one? And who brought that to the band? Was that Paula's idea?
Actually, no, that came off that tape that James Marshall made me.
Okay.
Although, I will say it's not unlikely that Shelley would have known about that song, and ergo Paula would have known about it, but I was the one technically who brought it to the band. Both Melvin and The Hump were on that tape that James made me.
Oh, okay.
I remember we did the backups in the bathroom at Silvery Moon.
Oh yeah, because it had a good echo.
Yeah, all of us in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And everybody that was like visiting the studio got in on that too.
Oh, my.
Yep, we dragged him in the bathroom.
So it sounds like one of those.
That's when they still tiled the walls in the bathrooms. You know, they don't really do that anymore.
It sounds like one of those clown car situations where all these clowns are piling into a little tiny
The
car.
clown bathroom. It's a clown stall.
The backups in the
or
bathroom.
the
Everybody.
the stateroom scene in the Marx Brothers movie. I think I think at Day of the Races.
Oh, yes. I love that story and that visual. Thank you for sharing that.
Amazing.
Were there hand claps on it too? Did everybody do hand claps on it?
Did we do what?
Hand claps.
Hand claps.
Hand clap?
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but there was like some background noises that we made.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Greg was in the bathroom with us too, doing hand claps. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it
Yeah,
was
that
part
was
of the
good.
Marsupials album because I was around for the recording of the Marsupials album and they did a lot of similar things.
Yeah, no, Greg was in the bathroom with us.
Yeah,
Okay.
according to the credits on the back of the album, it says you guys were doing all the backing vocals, and then also Greg and Brian as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, action guy.
Action guy.
Yeah, Brian was
Yeah.
definitely there. And wasn't Brian's like girlfriend there too? With
Jane.
some girls?
Yeah, Jane. I went to high
Jane.
school with her.
Yeah,
Sounds like a party.
That was great.
Everyone was there. I like it.
it was
That
like
was
a
great.
party.
Yeah, it was. There was definitely a party ambiance to the whole experience.
And that was a song we used to close with a lot too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that would be a good closer.
yeah.
I actually use that song to practice my bass playing now because it's got that chromatic run that, forces my fingers to actually work.
I love it. Still,
It's a good practice song.
it's a great song. And flipping the record, track 1 on side 2, we've got I Live My Life.
I live my life how I know how. That's how I live my life. I live my life the only way I'm gonna. That's how I live my life. I don't have to prove nothing to you. I don't have to talk or act like you. Whoa, 9 to 5 just to stay alive. While wearing neon skirt to keep from getting hurt. Roll through my shaggy hair. I don't see what you care. I live my life.
Believes too many people. But
All
I'm
right.
trying to play the song in my head now that you just said the name. Okay.
All right.
it
So,
even had the harmonica.
Oh, that was a terrific song. I just played it in my head. Awesome. It took a little bit. I got it though.
It's all good.
So
All good.
very cool.
you never revisit the past by playing that album, Casey?
Obviously, no.
Yeah,
No,
I have to
that
admit
happened.
I don't either. I have to be really honest here. The only thing that I listen to of bands that I used to be in, I listen to the Negro Problem a lot still. And occasionally I listen to Spooky Pie. And every once in a blue moon, I'll listen to something by Mad Monster Party. But for the most part, I listen to most of my own music.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, we
You know
do.
what I listen to? Is your Pandoras,
What?
Gwynne. Because some of that stuff, like Gonna Find a Cave or that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
my drumming was so amazing. Sorry, got to pat myself on the back. But it was so tight, and we were so tight.
Where we say if we want to.
It was awesome.
I know.
Chaz Ramirez recorded that CD, and he got
God,
such
it was
good
good.
performances out of us.
It was great.
Yeah,
I used to say
that
Chaz
was an
the only.
amazing record.
I used to say Chaz was one of the only producers that made it sound like I could sing, and he died tragically.
Yeah, he was like a magician. I played like a drummer. It was great.
Yeah, I loved working with Chaz, even though I had to drive all the way to Fullerton.
Yeah.
He fell down on his head. He was getting speaker wire up off a ledge in a warehouse, and it broke under him.
Oh no! What a terrible way
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah, it was really, really tragic.
That's awful. Okay, back to It's About Time. So the next song, Want, Need, Love.
And it seems like how you sit there now. Bring it, baby, out loud, round here. Wow! We got something that I want to move, yeah. Get that wild in a while in the took, yeah. Oh, baby, I saw you last night, all night in a dream. I want you, I need you, I love you so much, can't you see? Yeah. I want you.
Any memories about that one? Many years ago?
More standard 60s fare, I guess.
Fair enough.
That was probably one of my least favorite.
We did that video, remember?
Oh yeah, that
That's the one-
video.
That's the one with Rodney and
Yeah.
Mike Parenti.
Yeah, but if you go on YouTube, you can see a ninth generation videotape copy of it. It's really poor quality, but it's up there.
Oh, wow.
We had go-go dancers.
Yeah.
So, Casey, did you say this was one of your least favorite songs from the album?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and probably because I remembered the video shoot, and Paula just about lost her mind because I showed up to the shoot with my old Raggedy Sex Pistol T-shirt, and she lost it.
Wow.
I thought, oh man, whatever.
Why did she have an
Yeah, she was
issue
very
with the...
picky about what we wore.
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask
Paula-
about the image.
Paula-
Was Paula the one that was more into the image than the rest of you guys?
Actually, I was the first one that was really into the image because I was wearing 60s dresses before Paula was.
Okay.
Paula,
Yeah.
actually, in the direct hits, she did dress 60s, but she dressed like a little boy. She had short hair, and people used to call her, like, that Roger Daltrey. She wanted to be Roger Daltrey. She worshipped the Who. And so she dressed like a little boy from the 60s and only wore jeans. And I'm the one that got her to wear dresses and go-go boots and grow her hair out and wear earrings and makeup and stuff. She was very tomboyish.
She had Brian Jones down perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. And then later, of course, she, I guess, reverted to that when she went metal and started wearing, like, leather jeans, you know?
I think Paula was very stuck on this one particular image, whereas, I mean, Gwynne was very image conscious, period, but if you didn't fall within the very tight rules of the 60s look that Paula agreed with, which was just kind of the mod 60s and the psychedelic dresses. I mean, you couldn't throw hippie in or anything else without her getting mad. And I mean, even though, what was that band? She used to tease me that I looked like Rudy Protrudy. What was her band? Yeah, okay, so she'd object to like some things I wore by saying I looked like Rudy Protrudy and kind of be mean about it, but it's like she just had this very strict, you know, like she just wanted very bright psychedelic clothes, which at the time I really didn't want to wear, but now I like them, so who knows?
That's
Yeah,
funny.
she definitely had a vision for us to be very specifically of a very narrow time period in the 60s, and I actually, because Bambi and Paula and I had all come out of the original punk scene of the 70s,
Okay.
I thought that there was a little wiggle room to be sort of overlapping into the punk aesthetic a little bit. I wanted to play with punk bands. I wanted to be playing with like the Circle Jerks and Agent Orange and stuff. And I really liked the way the early Go-Go's looked, like when they were wearing like day-glow polka dots and stripes, but then they have like pink hair.
Mm-hmm.
It was sort of a cross between mod and punk, and I really loved that look. And, you know, later I sort of really did that to the Nines and Mad Monster Party. We looked like the band Fuzzbox, you know. It really,
Yeah, I like
really
that. I like that idea too.
And then Bambi played in Mad Monster Party too.
Yeah. And I like that look too. It was more creative.
Yeah, I wound up dyeing my hair green and purple and, you know, going all out with it.
So it just sounds like for the image at the moment, at the time, it was just a very specific timeline
Yeah.
she wanted.
Well, Paula wanted to keep it more specific than I did. I felt like there was wiggle room.
Right. Well,
I kind of looked for the reform school girl look.
yeah.
That's what I was going
yeah.
for.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of women's prison movies at the time, so
Yeah, I like that.
I love that sort of juvenile delinquent.
Yeah,
know.
it felt way more natural. I liked it.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun to feel like an outlaw or a bad girl.
Yeah, remember Psycho Cindy?
Oh my God,
Great time.
Psycho Cindy was this girl who had been Michael Curcio's only girlfriend before he came out of the closet.
Oh, wow.
She was like his high school sweetheart or something, and she was totally nutty.
Oh,
Wow.
So who came up with the name Psycho, Cindy?
I think Michael might have come up with it, but I'm not sure.
We're going to leave that one right there.
Yes,
We're gonna leave
yes.
that one right there. Moving on to track 3, It Just Ain't True.
You say you love me, but I feel the same. Why can't you see me? I love you just the same. Why can't you have it for your own? You say I forget you, then I start to run. But it just ain't true. No, it just ain't true.
I can't remember
I don't
that
even
one.
remember that song. It must not have been very memorable.
Well, then let's move on
B-side.
to track 4.
Those are B-sides.
All right, so track 4 on side 2 was the only other cover version, and it was originally recorded by the Traits, High on a Cloud. Gwynne, any thoughts?
Not my
Oh, I
favorite.
remember that.
I got in New York. But I got this compilation album in New York called, I think it was called Highs in the Mid-60s. It had a yellow and red cover. I can't remember, but It was a great compilation. I came back to New York with about 100 albums of pure 60s music, and that was one of the best ones.
Nice. So you brought the song in for the band?
Yeah. Although, again, because of Shelley, you know, there's a possibility Paula would have stumbled across it sooner or later.
Right.
And what about track 5, Cry on My Own?
Wow. I think that one may have come from one of those collections too, but I can barely remember that one. I just remember it was a slower song, so I probably liked it less because I'm the kind of person that almost inevitably skips the slow song on almost any record unless it's a soul ballad that came out of, like, you know, the Spinners or something.
Right.
I'm probably going to skip the slower song.
Okay.
That was like 6th grade dance music.
Yeah. I remember recording it, though, because there were background vocals I had to do on that one. And
Yeah, I had a hard
Diana
time doing
Club.
that.
So, so Casey, you've got some great quotes on some of these. So, 6th grade dance music, white boy lowrider music.
Yep.
All right.
Also, I think High on a Cloud is about heroin, which is interesting because I don't think Paula ever did heroin, but I think the first line of the song is, I got a nickel bag, which I suppose could refer to other drugs back then. I'm not sure what the nomenclature was in the 60s, but definitely when I heard it, I assumed that it was about heroin.
Yeah. When I hear that, I think weed, so...
Oh, really? Okay, I never really bothered much with weed, so I'm ignorant about it.
Probably better.
Even though my last boyfriend was a pot dealer.
Okay, so this brings us to the very last song on the album, Going His Way. Another Paula original song.
Is that the one that has the rave up at the end, kind of like Psychotic Reaction?
Yeah, it's like a stuttery into the rave up. Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's what I remember about it was that psychotic reaction rave up section. That was always fun.
Yeah, there was like
that one.
There was like a fun bass line in that one.
It was fun.
So Bambi,
You know what the funny thing is about the entire album is that I had to record the drum tracks after everybody recorded everything.
Wait.
Because my drum set got stolen.
Wait.
And
oh my God, I remember that.
Right.
So I played over everybody's everything. And sometimes things didn't match up, but it worked. It was good.
So what did the band track to?
I guess they went with, you know what, I'm not sure what happened, but Gary Stern figured something out, but I had to play over everybody when it was all done.
Wow, that's very unusual.
Wait a second. I remember playing to drums in the studio, recording to you playing drums. Maybe
might have been
have to do
some of it
later?
I think so, but some of it was full on after everybody was finished.
Wow, that's very unusual.
Except for going his way.
But I do remember the drums being there when we laid down the backing tracks.
Yeah, but going his way, that was one that brought it to my mind because that one is like just a smidgy off, and you can hear it. But whatever, it's a messy song, but it worked.
Yeah,
I like that track personally.
Me too. I do too.
It was fun to play live.
We were kids. I mean, it was pretty awesome. Really, compared to now, we were kids.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying all these stories personally. When you say we were kids, it's true. You were.
Yeah, I think I was like 20. My God.
Yeah.
I think of my boys now, and I think, oh my God, I used to drive to LA every night to practice. I bought Bambi.
I used to drive to, San Dimas every night to practice with Bambi.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy? Who would think about it now? I mean, we're kids.
Well, the traffic was not as bad back then. God, it was nothing to drive to San Dimas.
Gas wasn't as expensive.
That's funny. And, I used to listen to KRLA, going to practice, going out to LA every night because I had an AM radio.
KRLA all the time, too.
It was awesome.
I had an FM radio and I still listen to KRLA.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
We had a question, because It's About Time also gets a release on a French label called Closer Records, but with a different track listing, and it dropped a few songs. It dropped Haunted Beach Party, The Hump, Cry on My Own, and the Closer Records version adds, from the EP, it adds I'm Here, I'm Gone, That's Your Way Out, and Why. And they also included Are the Hook and You Lie. That was also on the Rhino compilation, The Girls Can't Help It. We were curious, this, with Closer Records, was it a band decision or a label decision?
It was a Greg Shaw decision, and you'll have to have a seance and conjure up his spirit to find out, because none of us even knew that was happening.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What's the hook?
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the hook.
I've never heard of that.
It's a song that's listed on the track listing, but I don't have that version of it, so I was curious about that, too.
I think, and I could be wrong, I think the hook might have been the G-rated version of The Hump. It might have been like an A-side or B-side to the Invictus single. I'm not sure, but I think that was the story.
Did we play
going back a long time to a really obscure fact, so you might want to Google that one.
All right, fair enough.
You can do that.
I don't remember playing anything called The Hook.
Yeah, Paul
Me
might
neither.
have gone back in and recorded a different vocal track, or maybe they used that as the title because The Hump sounded too dirty, or who knows what. I'm sure The Hump probably sounded too dirty in the 60s.
Yeah, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's just The Hump, but it's just retitled. That's certainly possible, because The Hump is not listed.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then I did want to note that Vox reissued this album, It's About Time, in 2014 on a really groovy purple marbled vinyl, which was really neat.
Wish I had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it's very cool looking. That came out in 2014.
We have nothing.
You're going to have to ask
They
Cindy
never
Shaw
told
about
us
that.
anything.
So the band never
Yeah, they
got
never
copies?
paid us much either. You know, I got one royalty check from them once.
Me
And,
too.
you know,
Would you buy a burger with it?
Wow.
yeah, it was like, I think $173. That's for,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I think Greg, I'm not sure if Greg Shaw's widow or Susie Shaw, who was his first wife, took over the company after he passed away. So I wouldn't know which one of those two to talk to, but it would be one of them. His widow's name is Victoria Byers. And his first wife was Susie Shaw, who ran the company with him.
Okay.
And I know he has a son, too, but I think the son kind of got screwed. I think he was intending to switch everything over from his wife to his son, and then he died, and,
Wow.
big mess.
That sounds pretty messy. So, It's About Time also got released on a CD version in 93, and it has additional tracks on it. That's pretty cool, too. But we did have one last Pandora's question that's related to our main theme, which is the Paisley Underground. It's well documented that you guys all split from Paula, and you did your own version of Pandora's, or the Gwynne, I've heard it called. But we wanted to ask, we've seen pictures with Michael Quercio in the band. Can you tell us about that, when Michael played with you guys?
Yeah. Well, after Paula left, Bambi decided she wanted to play guitar instead of bass. So we needed a bass player, and I was still teaching myself how to play bass. So Michael stepped in for one of our gigs. It was at Club Lingerie, I think? Or was it the Music Machine?
Music Machine.
I think it was different. I think I was still playing bass on that one, and that Michael played guitar, because we had that gig booked already with Paula, and she didn't want to do it because it wasn't like 60s enough of a gig.
Yeah,
it was at
we
the Music Machine.
We were playing with X, and I wanted to play with X.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
That's one of the reasons why we all split, because she was like refusing to play these good gigs because the other bands on the bill weren't like authentic enough.
Wow.
But she turned around and played with all of these bands right after. She played with everybody after.
So I think the picture that I saw, Michael is actually playing a Rickenbacker 6-string guitar. So maybe that's what...
that was my old guitar.
Oh, okay.
So I guess he was playing guitar.
That could have been on that one picture, and then maybe later.
You know what I'm getting it confused with? Jennifer Finch, who wound up in L7, she played bass with us for one of our gigs.
Yeah, and that was at the Lingerie.
That's right.
And you know what? Casey didn't play that gig with Michael because she was still on the fence with Paula.
Yeah, that's when Melanie came in. No. Julie.
Kat played drums.
Kat played drums. Yeah.
Pat Noel, who later played in Mad Monster, she played in Boo, and then she was in the Superheroines, and now she's in a band called Kitten Fishing.
Mm-hmm.
She played drums with us for that one gig. She was 15 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
I think Jennifer Finch was 17 when she played with us.
I remember she came to my mom's house when we played in my mom's garage.
That's right. That's right. And
that
I was teaching her all the parts, and after we were done, Bambi said, she was having a little trouble getting them because she was like a total beginner. And Bambi said, it actually sounded pretty good when you were playing the bass. Why don't you play the bass? And it had never occurred to me to play bass before. But when Bambi said that, I went, oh, okay. Sure.
Those are fun times. I still have cassettes of those practice sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fun
you know
stuff.
what? Here's an interesting thing. When Paula kicked Julie Patchouli out of the band later, she called me up and asked if I'd be interested in playing bass again. And I said, I was in Feline, so I didn't want to do it. And I said, Gwynne is actually a really good bass player. And even though there was like all this kind of bad blood between them, she asked me if I asked Gwynne, but you were like, no way.
I will say that It's About Time sounds very cohesive, and it sounds like you guys, there was a time period where you guys were all locked in, at least listening to the music, and I, for one, am very thankful that you guys all got together and recorded this album. I still listen to it at least a couple times a year. It's such a fun record to listen to.
Well, I'm really glad that it's being enjoyed. Yeah.
It is. And we wanted to just ask you if you wouldn't mind giving our listeners an update on each of you. Where did each of you go on to? Other bands or other projects, other things? I know our listeners would really like to know.
Yeah, start with Gwynne.
Oh, okay. Well, I did a lot of bands after the bands. First, I was in a band called Boo, which became Mad Monster Party. I was also in a band called the Love Dolls, which was a band that was sort of loosely affiliated with Red Cross.
Right.
They made a movie called Desperate Teenage Love Dolls about a fictitious all-girl band, but after the movie came out, they decided they wanted a real band, and the girl that had played the bass player in the movie didn't actually play bass, so I was recruited as bass player. I was later replaced by Abby Travis, which I consider an honor because Abby's just amazing. Abby's played with the Go-Go's and the Bangles. How lucky is that?
Yeah.
And she's really, really talented. Let's see. I played in the 90s. I played in a band called Bean, and then I played in the Leaving Trains for a brief moment. But I always joke that everybody has played in the Leaving Trains. They've had like 500 different members.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Melanie from the later lineup of Pandoras wound up in the Leaving Trains for like 8 years or something.
Yeah.
Everybody wound up in the Leaving Trains at one point or another. So then I was in a band called the Negro Problem.
My favorite.
And the singer of that band went on to win a Tony Award for a Broadway musical that he wrote. Right. Yeah, and I still listen to the Negro Problem. I still love that music.
It's such a great band. Such a great band.
Yeah, it was. And I was in a band with Debbie from Feline, in a band that we first called Magpie and later was called Pink Fuzz. And I think Debbie is remarkably talented. If you don't know about it, there's a record called The Januaries. That's the record she did from like the late 90s, early 2000s. One of the best albums of the era.
Wow. And the name of
the entire era.
And the name of the band is The Januaries?
It's The Januaries, yeah. Debbie is phenomenally talented.
Wow.
Phenomenal songwriter. So one of the best that I've ever worked with. Stu and Debbie are just amazing. After that, I played in the White Trash Debutantes for a little while with Ginger Coyote, who's Ginger Coyote. Wow. Yeah. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I do. Screaming Siren Time.
Oh yeah, she's a transgender who has a fanzine called the Punk Globe that she's been doing since the early 80s. And she knows everybody in the world. That was a fun band. And then I played in a band called Spooky Pie for about 4 years. And I was on a couple of their albums. I was on In the Sky and Poisonberry with them. And then I retired for a while. And now I got recruited to play bass with the reformed Backstage Pass, which is a bunch of groupies from the late 70s who had formed a band, the concept being that they were a band of groupies called Backstage Pass, singing songs about being groupies. And they played a lot of the early punk gigs in LA, but we just played the other night, and it actually went pretty well, even though we had a total train wreck on the second song. It went over, against all odds, it went over very well.
Wow.
So I'm doing that, and I'm playing, now the band Bean reformed as Super Bean in the last couple of years, and I just replaced the bass player in that. And the singer from that had another band from about 1995 or 1994 till about 2015, I think, called the Abe Lincoln Story. And they are reforming, and I've been asked to sing backup with the Abe Lincoln Story. And I think Annette Zelinskas from the Bangles may be the other backup singer, but I'm not sure yet, so don't put that in writing yet. But and so I'm doing that, and I'm doing another band with a friend of mine, which is called We Finance Everyone. But I don't know what's going on with that one.
Great
so
name.
I'm still playing.
Wow.
I'm still playing.
Dang, Gwynne, you have no time for anything else with this list. Casey, what about you?
I've got too much time.
Casey, did you do anything after Pandoras that you wanted to talk about?
Mine's a lot simpler. Played with Gwynne and Bambi after I quit playing with Paula because I didn't agree with her dustpan politics. Then I played with Feline. Then I played with the Screaming Sirens, who kind of taught me how to live. Took me from the crib to the wheelchair pretty quick.
Wow.
And it was a whole lot of fun, though. I loved every minute of it. That's pretty much it, though. It was real quick.
That was it for music after that?
That's pretty much it. I play in my living room, and I work and play in my living room. That's pretty much it.
Although we did reform briefly and record 3 new songs in 2014.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yes, with Lisa Black. Yeah.
And Susan Hyatt.
And Susan Hyatt, right. And
it was going really well until Susan decided to move to Nashville, and then the whole thing was over.
So did those songs
get that was real quick,
released?
Too.
Did the songs get released that you recorded in 2014?
Well, they're available.
Yeah.
On whatever means, whatever streaming services.
I think they're on
available
YouTube.
Are they? Okay, I didn't know if it was SoundCloud or GarageBand or what.
I'm gonna have to.
Bandcamp maybe, or I don't know, maybe iTunes, maybe iTunes. Is it Bandcamp? I don't remember.
I'm gonna make a plug here. You can hear all the stuff being recorded on Bandcamp.
Who recorded us? Ed Culver? Was that who did it?
No, it was that guy that lives in Hollywood, who was a friend of Susan's. He lives in that beautiful apartment in Hollywood.
Yeah, Ed Culver.
No, Ed Culver's a photographer.
Wasn't he a photographer?
Yeah.
Who am I thinking? Okay. Sorry, 2 shots of tequila too quick.
Wasn't his name Craig? Wasn't his name Craig?
I don't know what his
name was.
was.
He had an awesome little apartment, though. What the hell's going on? I don't know.
I was on drugs. I don't remember.
We'll have to.
I remember the drums were bitching. He made me sound like a Mel Taylor kind of drummer. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a great recording.
Yeah.
Bambi, did you do anything after the Pandoras?
Yeah, well, of course, I was still in the Pandoras with Gwynne as being the singer, and then later we kind of morphed into Feline. And then I was in Mad Monster Party on and off. And I'm really proud of the time I spent in this band called the Solipsistics that you've probably never heard of, but we're trying to get back together, and I'm trying to relearn how to play everything, and it's really hard.
It is really hard.
A big long break.
I was dragged out of retirement by my friends from We Finance Everyone, and oh my God, it was so hard getting started again. I thought it was like starting to play all over again. I forgot everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing that some things come back real easily, but then other things do not. And yeah, it's pretty hard. I hope it happens. I probably should be putting more time and effort into it. But it is fun to play. And I got away from music entirely because I was just so overwhelmed in my life raising my daughter and working full time that I just didn't have any energy for it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Casey and Bambi both had kids, but I'm like the sterility goddess.
Sterility goddess.
Yeah.
I chose to never have kids, and I never married either.
Yeah, it's not a choice for everybody, that's for sure. Sure. I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for agreeing to take our call and talk about this album. It's, like I said, it's an album I listen to a few times a year. I absolutely love it. It's a great album. All of you guys you could tell, had a huge impact on the sound, and we just really wanted to thank you guys for taking time to talk to us about it and go through all these tracks. And we said we'd try to leave it to about an hour, so we're just over that. So thanks again so much for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you both.
That
was fun.
very, very much.
Yes.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Oh,
all righty. Have a good one.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, Soraya. What do you think about that?
I'm really sorry. That's the cat.
The cat has an opinion too.
Well, he's a Pandoras fan. First of all, I'm really, really glad that we got the three of them to take this call and walk through the album with us. The stories are really amazing. My God, Gwynne has got a musical memory.
It's insane. Yes.
Cannot be beat.
Yeah.
No wonder she's friends with Michael Curcio. Michael is this walking musical encyclopedia, and Gwen's not too far behind.
No.
Honest.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. And, I kept writing down the albums and the artists that she kept mentioning because that Pandora's sound is so unique.
Yep.
And, but really, this was a unique opportunity. I'm so glad that we had the three of them on.
Me too. All of them had great input, great stories. Yeah.
But Casey was the one that was cracking me up because Casey said, I don't remember playing that. Oh, wait, now. I heard it in my head. Yeah, I remember playing this.
Yeah.
But really, and what I like the most is that they all, continue to play, and have started walking back in. I think Casey was the one that mentioned not being part of a band currently, but
yeah.
Bambi and Gwynne are, and I like knowing that they're still playing music. What did Casey say? Casey said, I play in my house.
Yeah.
I play in my house and work.
Yeah.
But they sound badass. And man, I want to turn Casey away for wearing a Sex Pistols shirt.
I know. But it sounds like Paula was going for a very specific thing.
Yeah, and and anyone who knows the Unclaimed knows, Shelley has that look too. You know?
Right. Yeah.
But it was Casey who said it. We were so young. We were kids.
Yeah.
And when you think about Paula, Gwynne, Bambi, Casey, they were so young when this album comes out.
Yeah.
And they were just a hard rocking band.
Yeah. There's a lot of energy, a lot of fun.
And you still listen to It's About Time, and the album holds up,
To me, it does, yeah. I mean...
And it's really good, but what I love was how they gave us the vision of how this all came together. We formed, we played, EP, boom. Like, there was no breathing room.
Right.
And when you think about that speed, and Bambi, she was in the band for a week?
Right. That's amazing.
Before they go in and record the EP, and you don't hear that. Like, I don't hear that.
Oh, no.
Slight misstep or, hesitation. No, Bambi was in.
Yeah, for sure. It does have, I will say that the band, and I'm saying this as a positive, it's got a very raw feel to it. I mean, garage music. I mean, that's part of what garage music is. And I think knowing that she had only had a little bit of time into it, it blows my mind. And then she said, right after the EP, she remembers just jumping straight into It's About Time, recording the album. But one thing I have to say when I listen to this album, like, I cannot be sad and listen to this album. If I was sad when I put it on, like, I'm instantly happy. It's just, this album just brings me joy, just fun, energetic, good fun songs, well played, a lot of fun.
I think a lot of us, especially that are aware of the Pandoras, we know what happened after this first incarnation of the Pandoras, and, the split and all of that. We know it all. We've heard the stories and everything, but I'm still glad that they can talk about this album positively, and they were really breaking new ground and I was so glad I asked that question about being a girl band at that time, because when you think about that transition out of punk into new wave and then kind of into this psychedelia, this experimentation, this was an all-girl band. I hate that term, all girls, like all woman band.
I know.
Band of women, but and breaking into a scene where they were really just not the norm, and the fact that the community supported them, the scene was supportive, and they were seen as, I think Bambi said it, we were seen as a band,
Yep.
not
Yeah.
just a girl band.
Right.
That's the part that I'm like, finally, thank God.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that question. I wouldn't have felt comfortable asking, but I was curious, so I'm glad that you asked.
Yeah, it's hard not to ask it because the Pandoras were really different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I these are the things that are like interesting to me.
Yeah,
like,
it is very
how
interesting.
does this band of 4 women
Yeah.
face a line? Oh, and those stupid comments. Oh, you drum pretty. You play pretty well for a girl. Well, what am I supposed to play? Like absolute garbage?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
How about I play badass?
Yeah.
I can probably beat your ass.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Don't ask me a dumb question like that because now I'm just gonna blow your mind.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly. Yeah. To me, I mean, it's worth having that conversation, and there's a lot behind the question too. At the time when I bought the album, anything that was on the Vox label or anything that looked 60s that was new and fresh.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's weird, like saying new and fresh for an 80s band having a 60s feel to it. I was buying everything that I could find at my independent record store, Lou's Records in Encinitas. I didn't keep them all, but I bought them just based on the fact that it was on this label and had that kind of look to it.
Yeah.
So regardless of who was in the band, what the band makeup was, like I said, I didn't keep all those albums. Some of them didn't hold interest to me. This one is one of the few, or actually, I would say one of the many. There was more than not that I liked from that label. So super glad we had them on. All of them were great.
And I just want to piggyback. This was an album that literally my brother Hassan just gave it to me.
Wow.
And said, listen to this.
Wow.
Because he knew I was kind of digging all these Paisley Underground. He goes, this is a different sound, and he just gave me the album. And then he goes, give it back to me when you're done. It never made its way back. I still
I love that.
But it's a great album, and it was so different.
I love that.
So,
all right.
This was fun. Thank you so much for setting that up because Jeff's been hard at work in getting the 3 surviving Pandora members from this album. It's About Time. So thank you so much, Jeff. This was really great.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
And Gwynne just gave me a laundry list of things I got to look up now.
I know. I got writer's cramp just from writing the bands that she's been in since. But yeah, I don't know if you were a fan of Negro Problem, but if you're not, those guys were amazing. Amazing band that she had.
If anyone knows, please drop us a message or put it on our Facebook page or Instagram or Twitter. Now I'm really curious if The Hook is really a G-rated version of The Hump.
Yeah, I don't have that version.
I can't see why you would need it.
Right.
But then again, I'm looking back about 30 years. So.
See what the standards were then.
Yeah, but now I'm super, super curious about it.
Yeah.
And since we can't have a seance and bring up Greg Shaw and ask these questions.
Right.
We're kind of left to our own devices. But,
exactly.
Jeff, are you happy?
I'm extremely happy. Yes, I am.
Good. This was a good one. So, nothing more to say. Gente, a groovir.
Groove on, Paisley people.